Okay, question number 3. The district recently announced that it would make $5 million in cuts instead of going to the ballot for a tax increase in November. Now, the cuts include the elimination of close to 50 full-time positions. Those positions include at least 16 teachers, along with counselors, social workers, security monitors, a language and speech pathologist, office workers, and cleaners. Are you concerned that high-ranking administrative positions like high school principals or the assistant superintendent were not considered or were not included on that list? Should the board take another look at those cuts? And I believe this time we'll start with, I forget which one we went with last time. I'll go with James.
Sure. I do know that there are cuts that were made with things like guidance counselors, because my child is being affected by one of those cuts. The cuts are highly unfortunate. When you make cuts, they obviously need to be balanced. I don't have any of the rationale on why those cuts were made, and I think the decision on those cuts would be made certainly after one of us is elected on the board. But I think what you would want to see as a board member is multiple alternatives put in front of you. So if 5 million cuts need to be made, really what are those options? I mean, what did the district think through when they were making that decision? I mean, obviously staff is going to have a recommendation and the superintendent's going to have a recommendation, and many feel that you're sort of going against staff if you don't rubber stamp it. But I mean, there also needs to be some background that is shared with the board and then also shared with the public. Okay, well, this was option B that we didn't choose, and this is why we didn't choose option B. And yes, it included an administrator, but this administrator is doing stuff for unfunded mandates, and they're untouchable. We can't let this person go just because of whatever legal reason we can't.
Okay. Beverly?
I had attended a few board meetings, and it was my understanding that the reason that the board had decided to make the cuts was due to the fact that they weren't going to put a levy on the ballot this year. And it's really unfortunate that they had to do some layoffs and do some cutbacks. But I think the main thing that the superintendent was looking at and the board was to making sure that they did balance the budget for the next year. And considering that they, unfortunately, last year, the last election, the levy did not pass. And it was either put a levy on the ballot, not sure whether it was going to pass or not, or making the cuts. And they decided to make the cuts. And, it's unfortunate, but it had to happen.
And James, do you have anything to add?
I don't.